Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Javed Iqbal Kokar, Professor of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology. As I am discussing the personal identity, and this is the seventh lecture of this series. And in this, I will be discussing chain of custody because this is very important in all the medical legal works that the chain of custody should be maintained. So the contents of today's talk will be that I will be discussing what is chain of custody and what are the principles for maintaining the chain of custody. So first of all, a safe storage. This means that when we collect this specimen and it has to be transported to the lab or somewhere else, it should be handed over to the concerned authorities immediately. As routine in Pakistan is that we dispatch the specimen to the labs through police, and police receive the specimen from us and then take it away to the concerned lab. But sometimes the time is such that the autopsy or the medical legal work is being conducted at night or in the late hours when the facilities for dispatch are not available, then you should keep those specimens in a safe storage. And for that, the specimen should be kept in lock and key and in the freezers. And these specimens should be registered. There should be a FOIL register maintained in which they are enlisted that such and such specimen was taken into custody and is being put into the refrigerator at this time, what is the specimen, at what time it is being put, and who is responsible for registering it. Then the seal, it should be sealed and seal should be intact, and there is always a specimen of seal with the specimen, and before dispatching to another authority, you should compare that the specimen of seal is exactly that which is affixed and it is not tampered or it is not broken. Then what about now talk about the chain of custody. It means anyone or all who are handling the specimens at a particular instance, they should be able to certify the extent of handling. That means they should first of all, when they put the specimen in the container and affix a paper on it containing what specimen it is, who has taken it and who is being preserving it and sealing it, then seal is fixed. He should sign receiving the specimen with the signature, and then when you hand it over, you should hand it over with signature, date and time. So as it should be mentioned what is collected, that what is in the container, what specimen it is, and why it was collected. That means to which laboratory it is being sent for the analysis, being it is sent to the histopathology or the chemical examiner or any other lab, why it is collected. Then to whom it is handed over. When you are handing over the specimen for the transportation to another lab or any other authority, it should be signed with signature, date and time. So it will indicate to whom it is being handed over. Then when it was handing over, I've told that date and time should be mentioned, and for how long it remains in the custody. Automatically when you have received with signatures, date and time, and there is a handing over time with signature, date and time in the register, so the both receiving and handing over will tell for how long it was in your custody or in the custody of a particular place. The chain of custody then should be maintained, and it should be maintained to avoid any tampering, any adulteration. So, chain of custody means the persons who are responsible in handing and taking over, they should certify, and it is in a chain from one person to another, receiving, handing over, taking over with sign, date and time. That is the chain of custody. So the chain of custody, it should be maintained till the specimens are presented in the court of law. Any evidence which you are going to collect is the property of the case, and all the property of the case will be presented in the court of law. So the chain of custody from the start till the end should be maintained. Handing over should be certified. That means there should be a written receipt. The person who is receiving, he should write his name with signature, date and time. That is the written receipt. The persons handing over and taking over should sign with name, date and time. So this is the maintenance of chain of custody. Now, what are the principles for maintaining the chain of custody? Secrecy should be maintained. It is a medical legal work, and secrecy is the number one priority. That the persons who are involved, they should maintain the secrecy about the specimen, about the testing to which is being sent. So secrecy is the first principle to maintain the chain of custody. And for maintaining the chain, it is said as shorter the chain, better it is. That means as minimum persons they are involved in handing and taking over, then it will be shorter. Minimum person involved in the handing taking over, that is the shorter the chain. Then surer the chain, that means surer the chain, better it is. That the persons handing over and taking over should certify on the written receipt of handing over and taking over with their name, signature, date and time. So that is surer the chain. They maintain the chain with surety. The person who is taking over, who is handing over, they are listed. So shorter the chain, surer the chain. That means both principles. Shorter the chain, better it is. Shorter the chain, better it is. So these are the main basic principle, and secrecy is the number one objective. So thank you very much. This is all about the chain of custody. We will continue the personal identity in the next lecture. Allah Hafiz.